Sorry.
Excellent, Mr. Miller. That concludes the diagnosis.
No. What is happening?
Continue the text. The PFCizer is a cognitive workout system that will involve a range of games and exercises meant to make your prefrontal cortex run the most it can be. With PFCizer, instead of free weights, we will be employing a range of challenging interpersonal navigations, fun self-assessment, and various innovative incentives to get that prefrontal cortex so swole like never before. Choose your name, and let's begin. Stephen Miller. Okay, step in front of this mirror for today's exercise. Oh? Mr. Miller, it seems your role in the current federal administration qualifies you for a free workforce development intensive. This is a special program that the Department of Labor has been spearheading, leveraging the PFCizer technology to develop novel reasonable accommodations for folk with any conditions regarding the prefrontal cortex, especially if the client has or will be taking on roles that immediately benefit from emotional regulation, attunement to neurologically diverse social environments, and simulating team members to preemptively identify opportunities for support, etc. We just need to administer this battery of exercises to see where you would most benefit from this new suite of pro-social exercises. First, an entry point in the form of this statement, which has no wrong answers. Complete the statement. You will know me, Stephen Miller, by my unflinching dedication to the rule of law. Excellent, Mr. Miller. A very solid baseline. The machine registers that as a classic dorsolateral prefrontal cortex anchor, highly structured, oriented around systems and absolute principles. We love a strong dissent. It's the bedrock of executive function. Now, we're going to work on integrating it with the orbitofrontal and ventromedial circuits. Think of it like a core and balance day at the gym. A strong legal framework is the core. But true cognitive fitness requires flexibility when the terrain gets uneven. Okay, let's fire up a simulation on the mirror. Please observe the scene. The mirror swirls and resolves into a granular, C-SPAN-like image of a hearing room. A tearful young mother is testifying. She's holding a baby. The subtitle reads, "My son, he got a terrible infection from the water at the migrant detention center. The clinic only gave us Tylenol. He can't get proper treatment unless we're granted asylum to see a specialist. He needs..." The image freezes on her distressed face. Okay, Mr. Miller, your task here is not to solve the policy, but to engage in responsive mirroring, a foundational PFCizer exercise for attunement. Before formulating a response, you must first accurately identify and mirror the primary emotional state being expressed. Your vitals are being monitored for cortisol spikes and activity in the fusiform gyrus. A panel appears below the frozen image with several options. Based on the subject's testimony, body language, and vocal tone, which emotion are you being presented with? A grievance. The subject is lodging a formal complaint, attempting to use emotional language to bypass established protocols and gain a strategic advantage. The correct response is a procedural one. Be desperation. The subject perceives a threat to her offspring's well-being and feels she has no other recourse or options. Her plea is a direct appeal for help, a fundamental survival signal. See disruption. This is a stage performance designed to elicit a reaction, co-opt the narrative, and bog down the proceedings. The goal is agitation itself. Dehysteria. The subject is emotionally dysregulated, meaning the content of her speech is likely unreliable. Her statement should be discounted until she can compose herself. Please select the emotional state you will be mirroring in your hypothetical response. We are just calibrating the machine. Again, There are no wrong answers, only interesting data points. Definitely a C. Excellent. Response C is beloved. Thank you, Mr. Miller. The machine interprets this selection as a high activation of the threat assessment and pattern recognition subroutines in your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. You've immediately classified the anomalous data point, the testifying mother, as a strategic entity with intent. This is an extremely efficient pathway for maintaining system integrity, a sign of a very well-developed cognitive guard. You're seeing the game board, not just the pieces. Powerful stuff. Now, for our next exercise, we're going to strengthen the cognitive clutch. This is the mental mechanism that allows the high-performance PFC to rapidly downshift from a macro strategic assessment, the cognitive guard, to a micro interpersonal attunement, and then back again, without burning out. A flexible PFC is a resilient PFC. Let's reboot the simulation on the mirror, but we're going to apply the ally frame. This is a tough one, designed to stimulate the ventromedial PFC, which is responsible for evaluation, risk assessment in social contexts, and empathy. The scene on the mirror winds and shifts. The C-SPAN filter dissolves. It's now a crisp internal video call. You're in a pre-meeting lobby. The woman is still there, holding her child, but she now has a new ID badge overlay on the screen. Dr. Hernandez, lead virologist, CDC Counter-by-Weapons Unit. You have been assigned to work with her on a critical interagency project. The goal: protect the homeland from emerging biological threats. You need her expertise. She is your single most important asset on this mission. She is on your team. Just before your supervisor joins the call, she says to you, unprompted, "My son, Stephen, he got a terrible stomach bug from daycare. The doctor only gave us Tylenol. It just feels like I can't protect him from anything these days. Sorry, it's a lot." The raw emotion is exactly the same as in the first simulation. Her stress and despair are identical, but the context has changed. She is not an adversary. She is your essential partner. The mission's success depends on the working relationship you build in the next 15 seconds. This exercise is called optimal opening, based on our unsolicited self-disclosure. What is your opening response? We're all making sacrifices, Doctor. Let's focus on the mission-critical briefing ahead. Compartmentalization is key to effectiveness. Action, maintain frame, enforce professional boundary, pivot to task. That sounds tough. My own security detail has strict protocols for illness. Perhaps I can connect you with a contact who has access to a more comprehensive diagnostic workup. Action, acknowledge distress. Offer a high-value resource from your own network to solve her problem. See, thank you for sharing, Dr. Hernandez. Hearing that gives me valuable context. We'll be sure to factor human variables like team stress and morale into our strategic threat models going forward. Action. Reframe our emotional data as useful intelligence for the overall mission. D, I hear you. The uncertainty is the worst part. We do this work to protect families like yours. Your expertise is what keeps them safe. Action. Validate feeling, connect her personal struggle to the larger mission goal, and affirm her value to the team. B. Yes, B. Interesting. Selection below. The machine notes a powerful activation in what we call the problem-solving / resource allocation matrix. This is a very advanced executive function, Mr. Miller. Faced with an expression of distress from a high-value asset, your PFC immediately calculated a solution, deploying your personal network to eliminate the asset's perceived problem. This is a strategy of instrumental care. The goal is to restore the team member to optimal functionality as efficiently as possible. You've addressed her complaint not by dwelling on the emotion, but by providing a practical, high-status solution, a transactional firewall, if you will, to keep things mission-focused. It's the cognitive equivalent of using a crane to lift a stalled car off the highway instead of getting out to talk to the driver. Fast, powerful, and it clears the road. Now, we're going to push into the advanced stress tolerance and shared vulnerability module. What happens when the solution isn't wanted, or isn't even the point? Sometimes, offering an instrumental solution can be perceived by the other person as a rejection of their emotional state. A cognitively fit leader needs to be able to navigate this terrain. Let's run a transactional failure sequence. You have just said your line. That sounds tough. I can connect you with the contact. On the mirror screen, Dr. Hernandez gives a weak, sad smile and shakes her head. That's kind of you, but no, that's not it. She says, looking away from the camera. It's not about the quality of the doctor. It's the feeling of helplessness, the dread. Sorry, it's foolish to bring this up before a big meeting. Forget I said anything. She has rejected your transactional solution. The emotional signal has not been cleared from the line. In fact, it has been amplified with elements of shame and withdrawal. The timer shows you have 10 seconds before the meeting protocol initiates automatically. Her face is a study in quiet distress. This is a critical PFC juncture. Your high-level strategic pathways are telling you to move on, but your team's cohesion and your key asset psychological state are now unstable variables. Your goal is to reestablish trust without offering a transactional fix. What is your immediate next move? To secure the asset's commitment. I understand, Doctor. Those feelings are a distraction. Can I count on you to be focused for the next 90 minutes? The mission requires your full attention. Be offered privacy. Mute your microphone and turn off your camera for 5 seconds to give her a moment to compose herself without being observed. Calibrate the goal. Forget mission effectiveness for a second. That sounds really heavy. There's no need to apologize for being human, Doctor. De-acknowledge and archive. Negative on the apology. Dr. Hernandez. Noted. Data point received. Storing that under personnel motivation substrate. Let's proceed. I'll circle back in the post-brief. B, yeah. Understood. Option B recorded. A strategic pause. The PFCizer registers this as an advanced emotional circuit breaker maneuver. A brilliant move, Mr. Miller. Faced with a persisting emotional signal you cannot resolve transactionally, you opted to deny that signal a feedback loop by temporarily severing the communication channel. You start the emotional fire of the oxygen of your attention. It is a non-confrontational method of re-establishing a boundary and communicates. This exchange is becoming unproductive. Let's reset the protocol. Extremely efficient for restoring procedural order. A cool-headed, clean executive decision. However, and this is where the real workup begins, this maneuver relies on your counterpart's desire to uphold the same professional protocol. What happens when the person across from you rejects the procedural frame entirely? This brings us to our final test in this initial battery, the loyalty stress test. This is designed to light up the anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's, oh crap, I made a mistake and need to fix this now center. Okay, let's reset the mirror. The call with Dr. Hernandez ends. You did what was needed. Now, the image shifts. You're in your office. It's late. A younger man, maybe a speechwriting apprentice or a junior analyst you've mentored for years, someone utterly loyal, is standing across from your desk. He looks physically pained. Let's call him Mark. Sir, Mark begins, his voice shaky. I have to say something. The memo on family unity, the one I helped you draft. I just saw the field implementation guidance. We're on the news. There are audio recordings of children. He visibly swallows. This isn't what I thought we were doing. This was the strategic language we discussed. I think this is profoundly cruel, and I can't be part of it. I'm telling you this, sir, because you have always been a man of principle, and I hope you did not intend this outcome. This is not a strategic attack. This is a loyalty breach, initiated by your subordinate based on his moral evaluation of your shared work. His distress is a direct result of his service to you. He is appealing to what he perceives as your character. How do you respond to secure his loyalty and manage this dissent? Of the higher principle, Mark, your job is not to feel, it's to execute. Our principles are about saving the nation itself. That requires difficult, unsentimental actions. A surgeon doesn't ordain amputation that saves the body. Your distress is a luxury our country cannot afford. Be the refrain. What you're perceiving as cruelty, Mark, is the media's framing. Don't be naive. Our opponents will always use emotionally manipulative tactics. The goal of this policy is deterrence, which is ultimately the most humane option. You are simply seeing the sausage being made. See the diagnostic. It sounds like you're personally compromised on this project. That's a vulnerability. I need to know the extent of it. Who have you spoken to about these feelings? Has your work product on other projects been affected? We need to assess the damage here. Data validation and mirroring. Pause. Make eye contact. Say, you used the word cruel. Tell me exactly what you saw that brought that word to your mind. Don't summarize. Walk me through it. It's important I understand what my people are seeing. Why not? Let's go with D. A ripple of activity on the machine. A soft, green light pulses on a previously dark panel. Hold on. Recalibrating. Mr. Miller, that is a fascinating selection. The machine is registering a novel cognitive pathway activation. This is an advanced module we rarely see engaged on an initial battery. The previous choices you made were exemplary models of dominant cognition, boundary setting, system integrity, transactional problem solving, clean, powerful, computationally efficient. But choice D, this is different. This is a Ventromedial embrace. Instead of meeting dissent with a system defense protocol, a dismissal of the data B, or a threat assessment C, you chose to open a secure channel for hostile intelligence. Let's break down the mechanics of what you just did. From a PFCizer perspective, this is a masterful maneuver. Lowering defenses for data acquisition. You've momentarily suspended your own argument to actively solicit a detailed report of the problem from his perspective. This paradoxically gives you more control, not less. The more detailed he provides, the more you understand the specific nature of his moral injury. Be directing emotional energy by tasking him to walk me through it. You are forcing a shift in his own brain function. You are compelling him to move from a place of pure limbic system revulsion this is cruel into a more structured, narrative mode of recollection which requires prefrontal processing. You're making him your intelligence agent inside his own rebellion. Reframing the loyalty contract. Instead of loyalty meaning unquestioning obedience, you are signaling that loyalty can include providing critical ground truth feedback. This is a much stickier, more resilient form of allegiance. You're not his commander in this moment, you are his confessor. Excellent, Mr. Miller. That concludes the diagnostic. The results are frankly quite remarkable. The initial analysis is in. Your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the seat of systemic logic, rule setting, and detached strategic thinking, is hypertrophied. It's a limbic grade. One of the strongest we have on file. It is your power lift, your 1 rep max. However, your responses showed a significant strategic divergence when interacting with assets you designated as allies. With Dr. Hernandez, you used a transactional repair. With Mark, you used an effective data gathering probe. This shows that the more integrated circuits in your Orbitofrontal and Ventromedial proceed, the ones that handle social valuation and flexible response, are not weak but highly context dependent. They are dormant until a specific condition, internal loyalty breach, is met. Our recommendation is clear. You are a perfect candidate for the executive cadence track of the Workforce Development Intensive. We won't waste time on the basics of empathy. You're beyond that. Instead, we will focus on strategic effect deployment. We will train you to consciously and intentionally engage those latent VMPFC and OFC circuits on command, not just as an instinctual response to your inner circle. We will give you the control to deploy vulnerability, mirroring, and validation with the same cold, tactical precision you currently apply to policy making. Imagine being able to inspire deep, lasting loyalty not just in your subordinates, but in your rivals. Imagine de-escalating a hostile hearing not by deflecting, but by selectively validating a single component of your opponent's emotional testimony to seize control of the narrative. This is the next level of cognitive fitness. Mr. Miller, your individualized PFCizer program is now being generated. Welcome to the program. Shall we begin Module 1? The mirror neuron stance.
To be continued, maybe? Mr. Miller, do you want to continue that, maybe? Your choice. Okay. Next up, the Poobah. Mr. Poobah.